Hello and welcome to TBC News, our top stories tonight. Tanzania continues to mourn ex-Premier Edward Lowassa. Government acknowledges MCC's return. Good evening, I'm Agnes Tuniga. You can also follow us live on our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. Condolences continue to pour in from various former and incumbent leaders, international communities, and political parties following the death of the former Prime Minister, the late Edward Lowassa, many describing him as a strong, firm leader who stood firm on what he believed. Peter Mganga has more on this story.
TBC News arrives at the home of the late Edward Lowassa's residence and witnesses various leaders, including former President of Tanzania, Dr. Jakaya Kikwete, accompanied by his wife, Salma Kikwete, where after signing the book of condolences, they expressed their condolences to the family.
I was saddened upon receiving the devastating news about the death of Edward Lowassa. I was aware that he was sick, but I did not expect that it would reach this stage. Edward has contributed a lot to our nation. Whatever has happened is part of life, but that does not change the good things that he has done for our nation. Let us all continue to pray for him.
On the other hand, the second Vice President of the Revolutionary Government of Zanzibar, Ahmed Suleiman Abdullah, is among those who are here to offer condolences to the bereaved family.
In this nation, Lowassa has done a lot of great things. We shall all continue to support the good things that he has done and contributed to our nation's development. He did put our country's interests and needs first and fought rightfully for the nation.
Furthermore, some of the permanent secretaries, heads of the government institutions, described the late Edward Ngoyai Lowassa as a decisive and courageous leader.
Leaders like Edward Lowassa are leaders who were made. This message should be heard by all political parties. Leaders don't just come out of nowhere. They must be made in terms of principles, their awareness of the country's history. One of the things that Lowassa did not support was poverty. He hated poverty. He wanted to see Tanzanians prosper and get out of poverty. As a former Minister of Water at that time, we witnessed that he had the capability of removing foreign companies that did not perform. He even revoked some of the contracts due to poor performance. He is an example of a good leader. We have a lot to learn from him, such as audacity, integrity, and being humble.
Lowassa will be laid to rest in his home village of Ngarachi in Munduli district on Saturday, February 17th, 2024. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Peter Mganga, TBC News.
As Tanzania is still in a 5-day mourning period following the death of the former Prime Minister, Edward Ngoyai Lowassa, who died on Saturday at the Jakaya Kikwete Heart Institute in Dar es Salaam. His career as a Prime Minister started from 2005 to 2008 under the former President Jakaya Kikwete. Here's a brief history of his political career as prepared by Amini Mgeni and read to you by Faidha Ngaga.
Napenda pia kumtambua Mheshimiwa Edward Lowassa.
Edward Ngoyai Lowassa, one amongst a few individuals who have been able to make waves in the internal politics of his party, CCM, and even beyond. He was a person endowed with courage, believing in significant developmental reforms while advocating for the eradication of poverty among the citizens. Endowed with leadership skills, Lowassa, a young man at the time, he received significant mentorship under the guidance of Ali Hassan Mwinyi, a retired president of the second phase government. He introduced him to high-ranking political positions. Despite being part of the youth nurtured with courage by Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere during their time at the University of Dar es Salaam, which served as a cubicle for fostering bold individuals, he was well received by the then president, the late Benjamin Mkapa, who referred to Lowassa and his colleagues as the umbrella soldiers. In the fourth phase of retired President Jakaya Kikwete's tenure, Lowassa was chosen as his prime minister. His speeches within the parliament while serving as the prime minister were influential, assigning tasks to both parliamentarians and executives filled with directives to bring about development for the people. He resigned from the position as prime minister, many considering it as a political accident. However, his audacity to take responsibility and craft a memorable resignation letter will not be forgotten. Edward Ngoyai Lowassa, a strategic individual who knew how to navigate the political landscape, believed in every cause he championed. He shook the internal politics of his party by running for the presidency in 2015, despite luck not being on his side. Unexpectedly, Lowassa emerged in the opposition politics within the coalition of the People's Constitution, Ukawa, carrying the Chadema flag in an election with unforgettable dynamics. Undoubtedly, he enriched Tanzanian politics. According to the Election Commission, luck wasn't on his side. However, they say a brave person doesn't abandon their roots. Lowassa gracefully returned to his party, CCM. This is Edward Lowassa, a politician blessed with strong support from all sides of the political spectrum. Undoubtedly, he has left an indelible mark on Tanzanian politics.
The Minister of Finance, Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba, has thanked the United States through its Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, for appointing Tanzania to be in the program to benefit from grants targeting at supporting policy and institutional reforms and forced economic growth. Dr. Nchemba made the remark in Dar es Salaam when he met and held talks with a delegation of the corporation led by its Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Chidi Blyden. Here are more details.
Dr. Nchemba says Tanzania has made strides in managing its economy and on the issues of good governance, human rights and democracy.
Tumekuwa tukishirikiana kwenye masuala ya miundombinu hasa ya barabara, nishati pamoja na maji.
We have been working together in different projects, including road infrastructure, energy and water. It is our expectation that we shall complete this project in time. Through our President Samia Suluhu Hassan, Dr. Hamis Mwinemvua has been appointed as a contact person for Tanzania. The Ministry of Finance and other ministries are ready to cooperate with you when need be.
On the other hand, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, Chidi Blyden, congratulates Tanzania for the steps it has taken in strengthening the issues of good governance, democracy, and human rights.
Restored relationship, I think, that had previously existed. And so we're pleased to be able to be here to congratulate you in person for meeting the criteria at this stage to receive a threshold. I do want to note something and that you mentioned, and the board's decision to recognize Tanzania is in recognition of their recent work on reforms to strengthen democratic governance, the rule of law, and the protection of fundamental freedoms. They've noticed the work that has been done to date, and part of the recognition of Tanzania receiving a threshold program is in recognition of that.
Blyden says that MCC experts will continue to discuss with the government experts to speed up the start of the implementation of the program. In December 2023, the board of the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, selected Tanzania and the Philippines as its partners in preparing the threshold programs that will focus on policy and institutional reforms that these countries can make to reduce poverty and stimulate economic growth.
The Tanzanian government has been praised for hosting thousands of refugees from war-torn neighboring countries such as Burundi and DR Congo. The commendation has been expressed by the Japanese ambassador to Tanzania, Yasushi Misawa, and the country representative of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Mahoa Parums, following Japan releasing $360,000 as an additional financial support to refugees.
I would like to pay a heartfelt respect to the government of Tanzania, as well as the people of Tanzania, who had showed their commitment to supporting people, not only in the Tanzanian people, but also the others who have problems. And as a ambassador of Japan, I would like to also emphasize that Japan would like to also stand by the Tanzania in supporting them.
Some countries are more rich than Tanzania, and they don't want refugees. They don't want migrants. When you see a country like Tanzania that has already its own issues, economic issues, social issues, and go extra miles to receive refugees, to be generous, to open their doors to people that are at the doorstep. What else can you say than Asante Sana? Because it is rare.
Ambassador Misawa insists it is based on the Tanzania's hospitable gesture that the people of Japan have been moved to offer their support, while the UNHCR country representative calls on more solidarity among nations and international organizations.
We found that the situations here in Tanzania are welcoming many refugees, and is very important for the international community as well as Japan itself. And from this point of view, the UNHCR is the most appropriate international organizations which can provide effective assistance to them. From this point of view, we have decided to provide assistance this time and additional assistance to UNHCR after the last year's decisions.
So what I'm calling for is more solidarity, more empathy. And we need to give more visibility about what is happening. Because people are suffering, people are dying. Children need to go to school. Women need to have a safe place to live. And we are not asking for too much. We are asking for basic human rights to be respected. So we cannot achieve this without being together. And host countries like Tanzania, who open their doors, needs to be also supported.
Last year, Japan contributed $500,000 to UNHCR as an emergency grant aid, and today the country announces contribution of $360,000 due to the continuation influx from the DR Congo and rising demand in assistance. The cashew processing in the country has increased from 18% for the year 2022 to 2023 to 25% for the year 2024. The cashew processing manager from the Cashew Board of Tanzania, Mbangile Maregesi, says that the government has put a strategy in place to ensure cashew processing reaches 100% by 2029-2030. Here's the report by Martina Ngulumbi, read by Teddy Mparanyanga.
Some members of the CCM Youth Wing in the Mtwara town are here undergoing training in cashew processing so that they can participate in the value chain of the crop.
We
have decided to get this training on cashew processing in order to ensure quality of the product. And through this training, these youth can get employment opportunities, income, among many other things. We believe that the youth can participate in the value chain of cashew nuts. The youth are tomorrow's hope. That is why we are preparing them to expand cashew nut market.
The processing manager from the Cashew Board of Tanzania, Mbangile Marigesi, says the processing has increased.
Kwa mara mwisho tulikuwa na viwanda 12, sasa hivi tumeongezeka tumefika viwanda 18, lakini mchakato.
At first we had 12 factories and now we have 18 factories. The government plans to make sure that the factories that were built by the government begin to work. The Cashew Nut Board of Tanzania are making efforts to ensure that the factories start working as soon as possible in order to speed up processing and to achieve our goal of processing 100% of the cashew nuts that we are producing in the country.
Some of the youth from the CCM Youth Wing, UVCCM, congratulate the organizers of the training as it will change the lives of many.
Our government under President Samia Suluhu Hassan has allocated funds for the construction of the factories for cashew processing, and we decided to use that opportunity to prepare our youth to get that training so that once those factories are open, they can get employed or employ themselves.
For us youth in Mtwara, we are benefiting a lot from this training on cashew processing since we have many cashew factories in Mtwara, and the president has also promised to increase more factories for cashew processing.
Cashew nuts is very important crop that is grown in Mtwara region. As youth, we believe that we will get employment opportunities through the factories that are continuing to build in our region.
The Director General of the Energy and Water Utilities Regulatory Authority, EWURA, James Andindile, says the government is committed to accelerate progress towards the government's ambitious 2033 target of ensuring 80% of cooking energy comes from clean sources. He expressed the commitment in Dar es Salaam during a dialogue on the contribution of the Tanzania LPG Association on home clean cooking energy.
Takwimu zilizopo zinaonyesha kwamba kumekuwepo na ongezeko kubwa la uagizaji wa LPG nchini.
Statistics indicate that there has been a huge improvement in the importation of LPG in the country. In the year of 2010, around 20,000 metric tons were imported. And towards the end of 2023, we've managed to import up 293,000 metric tons of liquefied petroleum gas. And between 2010 to 2023, there has been a lot of improvement as far as the importation of liquefied petroleum gas is concerned.
On the other hand, the Director General of Tanzania LPG Association, Amos Wansumbule, says that the main objective of the association is to ensure full transition of every single Tanzanian to clean energy use at an affordable price, while the chairman of the association, Bernate Araman, says that the gas sector in the country has created more than 1,000 direct employment.
Utumiaji wa nishati safi inaenda sambamba na malengo ya maendeleo endelevu ya Umoja wa Mataifa.
The use of clean energy goes hand in hand with the goals of Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. The goal number 7 aims to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Every member of United Nations should adhere to this goal.
The government of Namibia has announced a change of the dates for the memorial and funeral services for the late President Hage Geingob. Initially, it was announced that Friday 23rd February and Saturday 24th February would be the dates for the final memorial and state funeral service, respectively. However, Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Emma Theophilus, has announced that the memorial service will now be held on Saturday, the 24th, while the state funeral will be held on Sunday, the 25th of February. Here are more details.
The main memorial service will take place at Independence Stadium, and transport logistics are being put in place to ferry people to and from the stadium on Saturday, the 24th of February. Daily memorial services are scheduled from Monday to Tuesday at Venture Showgrounds, followed by services on Wednesday and Thursday at Yetuyama Namco Center in Katutura. Further announcements regarding the week starting on the 19th of February 2024, the ministry says will provide details on additional memorial services, pointing out that no further services will be held at the late president's residence.
Therefore, implore on the public that they should not congregate at the residence of the late president. And I hope that as citizens reflect on all this information, we continue to have the spirit of His Excellency the President in heart, that we're able to continue giving our condolences to Madam Menika Genkos, the children and the family.
Minister Theophilus emphasized that memorial services will run from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. daily, and further pointed out that all official communication will be done by the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology.
Before we wind up local news, let us now have a look at our today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Stay tuned for all the latest in international news. Welcome back, and here's international news brought to you by Ahmed Salum.
At least 67 people were killed in air raids on the overcrowded city of Rafah after the Israel forces carried out an intense bombardment in the southern Gazan city of Rafah overnight. According to the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza, the pre-dawn strikes on Monday hit 14 houses and 3 mosques in different parts of the city in the south of the region. The Israel military said it conducted a series of strikes on terror targets in the area of Shaboura in the southern Gaza Strip. Earlier last week, the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the Rafah operation would continue until Hamas was eliminated, adding he would provide safe passage to civilians wishing to leave Rafah. Also, the Israel military announced early on Monday that 2 people had been rescued in Rafah after nearly 130 days in captivity. In a statement, the army identified the 2 as Fernando Simon Marman and Luis Ha, saying they were kidnapped by the Hamas on October 7, 2023, and both are in good medical condition. Meanwhile, an appeals court in the Netherlands ruled that the Dutch government must stop exporting F-35 jet parts to Israel. The judgment said it was indisputable that there is a clear risk the exported F-35 parts are used in serious violations of international humanitarian law. The government in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, intends to end a 20-year suspension on capital punishment for soldiers guilty of disloyalty in the conflict against M23 rebels. The DRC government spokesperson Patrick Muyaya has said the Justice Minister submitted a note to Cabinet about lifting the moratorium on the death sentence for the military. Death sentences are regularly handed down by courts in DRC, but they have been systematically commuted to life in jail since a 2003 suspension on a capital punishment. After quiet around the December 20 election, which returned President Felix Tshisekedi for a second term, fighting has resumed, leaving dozens dead and displacing thousands. And the planned visit of Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, the head of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to Senegal on February 12, 2024 has been cancelled. According to a source in the Senegalese presidency, The visit has been postponed without a new date being set. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu was scheduled to meet with President Macky Sall on Monday, 12 February, amidst ongoing tension in Senegal following the announcement of the postponement of the presidential election from February 25th to December 15th. Last week, ECOWAS has urged Senegal, one of its most stable member states, to return to its election timetable, but critics have already questioned the group's influence over increasingly defiant member states.
That was international news. Sports news up next. And in sports news, the managing director of LAPEX, Thomas Kondia, says Tanzanian male and female athletes who will win Kilimanjaro Marathon 42-kilometer will be awarded a plot of land worth 6 million Tanzanian shillings at Kigamboni in Dar es Salaam as an incentive. Kondia hopes that the prize will motivate Tanzanian athletes to perform better and take Tanzanian athletic games into international sphere.
It's our intention to give motivation to fellow Tanzanians. That's why I have decided to give this prize, so that they can be motivated to participate on this list, so that to get that piece of land.
Any Tanzanian who will come, say position 5 or position 6 or even 7, but the first Tanzanian winner in 42, that is male and female, going to be awarded the land.
Kilimanjaro Marathon 2024 has attracted 11,000 runners from around the world, and that will promote Tanzanian tourist attractions to the global markets. Lady in Red Fashion Show 2024 fans has been urged to turn up in numbers in the show scheduled to take place on February 17th in Dar es Salaam City, targeting to collect money which will be used to pay expenses of treatment for children with heart problems at Jakaya Kikwete Cardiac Institute, JKCI. The coordinator of the show, Mary Fernandez, says they have decided to donate money to children with heart problems to help them get treatment as part of giving back to the society, and her words are supported by other Lady in Red participants.
We're expecting a lot of things, especially with the designers. We've got new faces this time, and we've got international designers from UK, from India, yes. So it's going to be amazing. So don't plan to miss the show.
It's too high. Actually, this is my first time here, and you know, I can see like everybody deserves, like they are so into it.
This year we devoted to children who has disease with heart. Muhimbili Hospital. We wanna collect like money, like donation through this buying tickets. So guys, please support. And I believe all our contribution, even 30,000 shillings, will not give a big sense if you spend. And at the same time, you will see beautiful show, beautiful models.
23 models have been selected to showcase their talents during the Lady in Red fashion show on February 17th. That marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. My name is Agnes Tuniga, and for the rest of the team, thank you very much for watching and good night.